Բարև ձեզ հարգելի բարեկամներ, Սփյուռքի ձայնը հեռուստահանդեսը դարձյալ ձեզ հետ է։ Այսօրվա մեր հաղորդումը ուզում եմ սկսել ձեզ ներկայացնելով վերջերս Միացյալ Ազգերի կազմակերպությունում տեղի ունեցած ցեղասպանությունների կանխարգելում խորհրդաժողովի մասին մեր պատրաստած ակնարկը։
ATOP Meaningful World Organization, chaired by its founder Dr. Ani Kalajan, under the sponsorship of the Permanent Mission of Armenia to the UN, and in collaboration with other non-Armenian NGOs, held a symposium in the United Nations on the topic of the prevention of genocide. The purpose of this symposium was to share and discuss preventative strategies and initiatives, as well as the role of governments, the UN, the civil society groups in the prevention of genocides around the world. This informative, insightful, and transformative program began with the moment of silence to honor all those who sacrificed their lives in the genocides from slavery to present political crises in Syria, Mali, Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, with a firm commitment for peace and compassion. The event was kicked off with the opening remarks by Ambassador Garan Nazarian, permanent representative of Armenia to the United Nations. Ambassador Nazarian emphasized the importance of education, including human rights education in the prevention of genocide.
The resolution also stresses the importance of the promotion of truth, justice, reparation, and that perpetrators of genocide crimes should be held criminally accountable on the national or international level, and affirmed the primary responsibility of state to protect populations from genocide, war crime, ethnic cleansing, crime against humanity, which is part of our common responsibility to protect. There is nothing new in stating that the role of education, including human rights education, is indispensable, and we should continue in promoting educational programs and projects that contribute to the prevention.
The chair of the event, Dr. Ani Kalajan, presented a moving PowerPoint lecture about the genocides around the world, starting with the beginnings of slavery all the way to the current genocide in Sudan. Dr. Kalajan's remarks, followed by a screening of Michael Hagopian's Voices from the Lake documentary, which was introduced by recognized filmmaker and producer Carla Karabedian. As in previous years, the chair of the event, Dr. Kalajan, presented awards to high school students, winners of the 18th Annual Genocide Essay Contest. This year's winners shared their wonderful essay summaries on what the legacy of genocide means to me and how to prevent genocides around the globe.
Well, I think it's important that education has the quality of humanity to it. This is a course in social science research, but it's not just a matter of learning how to do research, how to do statistics, but understanding the human condition. And I think things like this are extremely important because all too often, especially Americans, are very insensitive to suffering going on around the world. And I think that's part of our humanity.
The event included 3 distinguished panelists. Dr. Joyce Aspel, professor at New York University, president of the Institute for Studies of Genocide, and the director of RightWorks International, a global human rights educational initiative.
A lot has gone forward, but again, there is a lot still to be done. And I'll look at it just very briefly under the following paradigms. One is education, that there are many courses, workshops, opportunities, dialogues, not enough, but there are still many, in which people are beginning to understand atrocity.
Ms. Theo Halo, who began as a talented artist in writing poetry and short stories, and then wrote her mother's memoirs. She won numerous awards for her poetry and literary and political essays. She is the author of Not Even My Name and A Lid for Every Pot.
This displacement and loss of continuity between the generations and historic homeland is another aspect of the crime of genocide. For my mother and too many others, the Ottoman genocide of the Pontian and other Asia Minor Greeks, Assyrians, and Armenians between 1913 to 1923 was complete. By the age of 10, my mother had lost family, community, home, and country, and finally even her language and her name. More profound in a larger sense, however, was the fact that even the name of the Pontic Greeks was forgotten as if erased from history.
Mr. Alexander Dinelaris, who is a two-time Drama Desk nominee and a playwright on the genocide of Armenians, his recent productions included Red Dog Howls with the New York Theater Workshop. Mr. Dinelaris also received an Outstanding Achievements Award.
The most intriguing part of this event is the idea that it starts with forgiveness. I think it's not dry and analytical. It's about the basis of forgiveness, which is the only way to move forward. And I think any summit with that premise is something worthwhile, and I'm extremely proud to have been invited.
A lively and meaningful Q&A followed as the audience represented many nationalities from around the world.
I think what they take away is the messages that it's not just the end of genocide. We need to work every day to be mindful about how we create peace within each and every one of us, and how we are treating other people. You know, our attitudes. Are we part of putting people down, or are we handing our hand to others and pulling them up? I think that's what the message was, that we stay away from tribalist, nationalist attitude and be more empathic, as all of us have gone through these kinds of atrocities, maybe on a smaller or larger scale. So we need, with empathy and compassion and forgiveness, we can transform and really learn from history rather than repeat it.